Thanks to the National Pork Board for sponsoring this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to Bopomofo Cafe. The last time you guys were here, we were actually shooting our docu-series of making this cafe, and we're so glad that you enjoyed the three-part series. It was really cool to see all your guys' comments of support and enthusiasm, and a lot of you guys have actually come in and tried the cafe for yourselves since then, so thank you guys so much. Now we realized as we were even editing that a lot of the documentary was about what was going on out here, but we never really took you guys into the kitchen to show you how we make our food and our menu and come up with all those creations back there. So a big inspiration behind our menu is actually our dual cultural upbringing. We have our Eastern influence from like our immigrant families, but then also our Western influence growing up in America. And so we really wanted to find ways to bridge those two cultures together through our food. And to show you how we make it and what goes on in the kitchen back there, I'm gonna bring out our head chef, Andrew Park. Come on in, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going, Phil? It's good to be here.
It's so formal. So today you're gonna show us actually one of our brand new fall dishes, which is actually a pork dish, right?
Yeah. Since we did have a lot of poultry dishes, we decided to introduce a fall menu with a new protein.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually think about pork as like a main part of a dish. I feel like it's always like chicken or beef. And actually in Asian cuisine, pork is way more prevalent than actually beef.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than it is with beef here in the States.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about pork being like really unhealthy because of things like sausages and pepperoni and bacon. Yeah. But actually, it's a lean cut of pork is actually like as healthy as like chicken breast. In our dish, we're actually using pork belly, and there's also a lot of misconceptions about pork belly also, right?
I mean, pork belly gets a bad rep because in American dishes, it's usually tied with bacon. The way bacon is made is it's cured, it's salted, there's a high sodium content. Yeah. The actual cut of pork belly itself is not a bad cut.
And that's why it's so good. The way we're using pork this season is actually in a braised, stewed pork. It's called LuRou. But we want to do like a twist on it, right? And we ended up on something pretty crazy. Yeah. We put them on nachos.
Yeah, which was a very last-minute decision.
Right.
But it all worked out for the best.
All right, we've been talking a lot about our food. Why don't we show everyone what actually happens in the kitchen, and let's make one of these dishes.
All right.
Let's do it.
Follow me.
Gotta be sanitary. There was one time when, in like the first month or so of opening, that we were super slammed and understaffed, and I actually did do some cooking back here. Oh, okay, I should say assembly. I should say assembly.
So right now we're making the cheese sauce. So we start reducing some cream, and then we have our own mix of random cheese.
A special blend. So of course, a good nacho dish has to have a good cheese sauce. We had a long debate about what kind of nachos we want to make because there's like two schools of thought, right? One is the cheese sauce, and one is just melted cheese on top. We ended up doing a half and half actually. So are you just eyeballing it right now?
No, it's a methodical, thought out process.
Okay, it looks like you're eyeballing it. I love cheese. Like I was saying earlier, like a big part of the menu is about trying to find this balance between things that we grew up with at home and like, in American culture, since they were very different. And I just imagine this dish is kind of like, when you went to school cafeteria, you got nachos, right?
Yeah.
But then let's say you sit down and you also pair it with the leftovers that your mom or your dad packed from dinner last night. I remember making a bunch of stuff and mixing things together, and now we get to do it for real here. So we got the cheese going on here. Now what's going on in this massive pot over here?
So this is actually the
Oh my God.
pork belly, the
LuRou.
LuRou,
God.
that has been braising right now for about 3 hours. It's pushing 3 hours.
Okay.
Still got maybe at least 5 hours to go.
8 hours total.
Minimum 6 hours.
Okay.
The best results at 8.
Right. So this recipe is something that we also worked on for a while. This was actually before we even launched the cafe. We knew we wanted to do a LuRou dish, but we didn't launch with it yet because we weren't sure about our operations.
How to put it in a vessel.
Right, exactly. Dude, that smells so good. What goes into LuRou?
I think the main ingredients that bring out the flavor, number one is the fried shallots.
Fried shallots.
You get that very pungent onion with a very fragrant sweetness from the onion as well.
Yeah.
In this one, there's actually quite a lot of ginger and cinnamon that go into it.
Cinnamon?
Yeah.
Is that normal?
It is.
Okay.
The traditional Chinese 5-spice includes cinnamon.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And other spices in there, but this is
Four
all
other spices.
4 other spices. So this one is ginger cinnamon, soy sauce, and then you get a little hint of Shaoxing wine. So a
wine.
Chinese rice wine.
Rice wine, okay, got it. All right, so what Andrew's doing right now is he's actually making the scallion pancake chips, and we use actual real scallion pancake. It's not a gimmick. We actually had a long conversation about this too, because scallion pancakes were like tongyobing. There's so many different varieties. Some are like thicker and fluffier, some are more chewy that you can like pull apart. But we needed one that was very chip-like once it was fried. Kind of like a tortilla chip. It needed to have that snap. So we actually like tested a lot of different types of scallion pancakes. That was a great day in the test kitchen. I love scallion pancakes. Beautiful.
All right, now that the chips are done, we're going to salt it. All right, so now we're going to start the plating. Get a heaping help from the nachos. Here's the best part.
Oh yes.
That ooey gooey cheese.
So that is the nacho cheese sauce that's gonna have a nice coverage. But we're adding another layer of just fresh cheese on top, so you get the nice
Cheese pool.
The shell and the cheese pool, right? Yeah.
So this is a salamander, or also known as a broiler. Technically, it's also called a cheese melter. You can put some toast, you can melt cheese, you can make grilled cheese out of it. Anything that you need to be cooked from the top down. All right, so once we start getting the cheese melting is when we start cooking the LuRou.
So this is the already prepared pork that you've already chopped up, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
so
God,
this
that's so
pork
good.
has been braised for at least 8 hours, maybe a little bit more.
So you turn the juices that it was cooking in into a sauce.
Yeah. It'll continue to reduce into almost a barbecue-like sauce.
Okay.
It becomes a glaze.
All right, here we go. Oh, beautiful.
And then we top it with our homemade pico de gallo.
So this isn't just normal pico de gallo.
It's not.
So what we had Andrew do was we made a pico de gallo that uses mustard greens as a base.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys that know the LuRou dish, it's usually served with mustard greens. In Mandarin, it's called Scallion, and it's like this bitter vegetable. But when it's paired with the cilantro, tomatoes, onions, get a nice sour flavor to match the sweetness of the pork.
Yeah. The final touch is some fried shallots on top.
You had to. You had to.
Yeah.
Shallot Bay. Dude.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things on the fall menu. This is for all the kids that grew up eating their parents' cooking in the cafeteria right here. Cheers.
Woo. Juicy.
Well, thanks Andrew for taking us through one of our dishes over here.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyed showing you guys how to make this dish.
And I hope you guys also enjoyed watching as well. Let us know in the comments below if you like, seeing these kinds of videos and seeing the process of what happens here at the cafe. So come by, check out the fall menu, say hi to Andrew if you see him. He's always in the back. And be sure to subscribe to more Wong Fu. See you guys.
Bye.
And special thanks to the National Pork Board for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description to learn more.